There comes a time to sell your cloak to buy a sword. We're going back in off the deep end today, folks. I got to put out a couple disclaimers. A lot of people get sensitive around Bible. A lot of people get upset when tarot cards and Bible start being used in the same work. Just got to point out, tarot cards go back to times when there was a vast majority of the population were illiterate. Look at the Mutus Liber. It's a alchemical book, has to do with the silent work. And that book has no words. It's all pictographic. It's images, and it requires a teacher to give instruction, to put context to the pictures. And the lessons therein go way over our head, and we can read, some of us can read in multiple languages. So, these images and their meaning and the story that they contain, it's lived through it's withstood the test of time, and it's still here today, and it's not necessarily evil if you're not using it for evil intent. And it does come from the Torah, which the Torah is the Old Testament, which ties into the New Testament, and that's where we're going today. Luke 22:36. If you've been paying attention, you know what those numbers mean. So, and it reads thusly. Then he said unto them, But now, he that hath a purse, let him take it, and likewise his script, and he that hath no sword, let him sell his garment to buy one. 37. For I say unto you, that this that is written must yet be accomplished in me. And he was reckoned among the transgressors, for the things concerning me have an end. And they said, Lord, behold, we have here 2 swords. And he said unto them, It is enough. 2 swords. 2 pillars. Okay, king. 11. The duality, the 2 minds. I'm not going to interpret too much in there, but we are talking about selling the cloak, selling the garment to buy a sword. We're going out of the ethereal, the hidden, the covered, and we're going into the material. We're bringing it out from the realm of idea, from the underworld of the mind, and into that which can be presented, shared, used in spiritual self-defense. So that's that. A lot to think about there. I'm calling this segment Skinny Dipping with Carl Gustav Jung. We're going into that collective unconscious. We're going beyond the subconscious. We're going into these shared concepts that are universal culturally. We are living in a day and age where, that just saying this name, just saying this phrase, there are thousands of people who their mind goes right to the verse. When they see this little section of information, there are a million presumptions, thoughts, and ideas and experiences come to bear when I just invoke just that little bit of information. And we are dipping into the underworld, skinny dipping with Carl Gustav Jung. And skinny dipping. They call it that for a reason. You're naked. Your skin is showing. You're vulnerable. You're exposed. You've sold your cloak. So all of these words and all of these phrases that I'm about to put into context here, we are talking about your aura. We will be talking about your aura. And, I've mentioned before that I believe that the aura, it is much like the ghost, the spirit of your higher self. It was once an organ, and it was removed in the obstetric practice of the birth ritual. And that was quite a trauma. It was quite a removal from your higher self, and it will be used again. You know, you will be put in that context where your cloak will be sold and you will need to buy a sword. You know, entering into contract, the world of fiction. Emote. You know, E is energy. E is the 5. It's the star. And moat is a protective rim. So I'm talking about your emotions, but I'm spelling it this way on purpose. We're talking about that protective circle. That the concept of the circle is put into our language perpetually, and oftentimes it is being evoked or invoked. Excuse me. It's being invoked in our language. You know. In this verse, it spoke of those who have a person and to bring their script. You know, that's talking about a lot of things. But the word the word person means, in Etruscan, it means mask. So all of this masquerade that's been going on since 2020, 22, master builder number, all of this masquerade has a lot to do with interfacing with the fictional realm. We are all instructed to use our person and to go forward with much presumption that we are agreeing to this grand fiction, the Matrix. Just pointing out, in many spiritual contexts, the letter K means king. It is the 11th letter. LL, 11, L heaven, one heaven. Some people would say that's resurrection, or some people would say that's reincarnation. You know, when you see the letter king, think about the king. Think about a crown. Think about a higher level, above the common man, not of the mundane. So, thinking. When you're thinking, you're using your higher self, your inner reasoning. And your thinking may very well be pointing to this aura, to this higher self, the thin king. We're talking about a boundary, a border, a purse, a moat. Thin king. Ban king. They ban your sovereignty. You are giving away your money, your potency, and they will determine what to do with it, where it goes, and they'll give you, you know, as much as they care to give, and they'll take as much as they need to because you're in contract. They banned the king. They banned sovereignty. All of this is the same concept, even though these words seem so far and broad in context. Citizenship. Sinship. Now, that's not necessary. You know, sin is standing in negative, which means, you know, you're standing without your sovereignty. You're in the negative. You're in debt. You're in commerce. Sin. But it's also sitting without. Sin. Seen without your ship. Citizenship is you're lost at sea. You don't have your sovereignty, your kingship, your purse, your true full capacity. You know, look up criminal transportation from the 1700s, maybe even the 1600s. It went on for 200 years. You know, a lot of all colored skin people came to the Americas as a penal colony, you know, just like Australia. All colors of folks from all walks of life were shipped here. This was a penal colony. This wasn't a fucking pilgrim picnic. This was a penal colony. And that's the reason we still get treated like slaves, regardless of skin color. Sesta. We talked about Sesta KV, the Sesta K Trust. Look that up in Black's Law Dictionary. It's not spelled like this. It's cestui. But the word cesta in Latin means basket. Think about Moses being put into a basket by a woman, some sister, somebody's sister, put him in a basket and sent him upriver so he could lose his birthright. Basket. Person. We're going into maritime admiralty law. The word good. Man, this kind of upsets me. I wish this wasn't the case. You know, we all want to be good. Well, and at maritime admiralty, a good is for sale. It's something that's for sale. It's and here's this word sail. You know, that pulls, the S-A-I-L, pulls the ship along, right? Well, that's a very thin veil that pulls the ship, you know. The good is for sale. Being good is pulling you into maritime admiralty law. We're talking about the veil, the placenta. Being, human being. Yeah, I'm a human being. Well, this is not in Black's Law. This is me being interpretive. You know, what if being means bien? This is Twilight language. What if it means bien? Yeah, I'm a human being. I'm a human good. I'm a human who is for sale. I'll be pulled into maritime admiralty law, you know. Sell your cloak, buy a sword. Know what you're doing, folks. No ledge, knowledge, you know. It could be they have no ledge. They don't have that boundary. They're they're just taking things in. Yeah, oh, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I understand. Well, you're agreeing to contract. And we're talking about that ledge, your aura, the limitation. And then we have the word ledger. You know, you're going into contract. You're going into debt, obligation. Here we go into offended. The ledge, the edge, is taken off of you. Oftentimes people emote very quickly. They're very quick to emotion because they are offended by things. I'm going to give a quick example. If I draw a picture and say, this is you, that's you, and I put your name on it, and I even give it hair that looks like your hair, and then I put a picture of a pistol, and I say, look, I'm shooting you. Oh, and blood is coming out. Oh, look, I just killed you. On some level, you're going to be offended. All I did was draw a picture. All I did was say that it is you. You have the freedom of association. It's on you to think that this symbol and this intention of pain has anything to do with you. You watch too much fiction, you get stuck in suspended disbelief. And suspended disbelief will create a debt for belief. You'll have withdrawal. You wish you could believe something, and you'll be quick to believe the next stupid story that comes across the TV. Den Kromverlust. Look that up. It is confusing the symbolic for the subject. It's confusing the symbol for the subject. So if this offended you, if this gave you an emotional response, you know, that's on you that you anthropomorphized a stupid picture, a graven image that was used against you. We have this tendency to anthropomorphize. It goes all the way into sports. You know, when we watch sports, people get so emotional. They get so engaged. Bread and circus. Bread as in your mama, your papa, breeding. This is your class, your castration. Bread. Circus. We're talking about the placenta, the turmoil. They're bringing out your emotions with turmoil. Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail. I don't think I have to say much about that. But that has to do with being self-consumed. in the context of the placenta, it may be instructions on reaching a higher level. You know, there is a certain degree of cannibalism at play with what I propose, that, you know, the placenta, the T cells, boosting your immune system. Border issues. Boy, that's going to get a lot of people riled up. People talking about, oh, they're coming to get your guns. They're jumping over the border. We're talking about boundaries. We're talking about your person. You know, you have freedom of association. That doesn't have to be your border. That doesn't have to have anything to do with you if it's not immediate. It's all imaginary. These are stories. Little Caesar, this cracks me up. You know, these are elite families. These people probably know about the secret of the Ouroboros. You know, Caesar, Kaisers, the Czars, Kaiser Permanente. Well, think about the image of Little Caesar. He's got that spear, you know, Vlad the Impaler style. And he's spearing a pizza, a circle, the sacred circle, the whole, the complete self. I'm just saying. And I just want to point out, you know, the biblical translation of the word officer is eunuch of the Pharaoh. The officer, he offered up his sacrifice. Eunuch means it's got no genitalia, no potency. He gave up his decision making for that costume. And these three words are very similar. Anunnaki, Ashkenazi, Anasazi. Look up the Anasazi. There was a race of infiltrators into Chaco Canyon. They shaved down their teeth to razor sharp edges, and they practiced cannibalism. And they used psychological warfare to overthrow a very peaceful civilization at the time. I may be spelling it all wrong, but look up the Anasazi and think of what it means in the context of Anunnaki, Ashkenazi. You know, the big skull, the tall king heads, talking heads. And maybe check out the book, The Beginning Was in the End. The Beginning Was the End. Oscar Kissmeyer. I know that was a lot. I know this was a long one. But I got a feeling a lot of folks know what I'm getting at. Much love, y'all. Stay strong.